March the 7th, 2016. Guys, I had a couple questions. One is this particular image, and this is from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. It is a satellite that is looking at the sun and giving you an Earth perspective view. In other words, it's an Earth-facing image. Now, what you're seeing is a shadow on the sun. You would never see this from our planet, but the SDO is in a figure 8 pattern that moves through that figure 8, and at times it moves behind the Earth. So what you're seeing is from the satellite camera, a eclipse caused by our planet. Not a solar, not a lunar eclipse, but an Earth eclipse. Again, it's just a satellite view, and that's what we're seeing. It's a beautiful image to be able to see this. Now, the other question was about the unusual and large magnetic filament activity on the right side of the sun right here. And this has caused a coronal mass ejection early in the morning, universal time, and we'll look at the effects of that. Now, again, we're looking at Earth-facing views, so this explosion to the right is not directly Earth-facing, but they expand so rapidly that the ACE satellite, which is between the sun and the Earth, and is an early warning system for solar activity for our planet, has picked up that magnetic wave. Now, the CME is headed to the right. Let's look at it again. Another satellite. This is called LASCO C3. It is also what we call Earth-facing. This is a powerful burst. If it had been directly Earth-facing, then we would be in more trouble as far as satellite interference and possibly more grid interference as far as the electrical power grids. We've seen this before. But we're also getting images from the other side of the sun. What you're looking at, and you see the burst to the right, is from an Earth-facing satellite. Stereo ahead has emerged from behind the sun, and we're getting some decent images now. And that's why you see the burst to the left. It's on the other side. And what's going to be key about this is when we need a view from an object approaching from the backside of the sun, we've seen this happen before with the comets. That particular satellite will help us. Now, at the top of this in our links, this is our website, bpearthwatch.com. We used the top 3 links to do this video, the SDO, the SOHO, and stereo. Stereo is the one behind the sun. I get that question a lot. And you've got the ACE satellite link, which has picked up the magnetic burst. We also have the magnetopause link right above it. Now, when I'm saying that the Earth was also affected by this expanding burst, not a direct hit, but an expanding burst, you can see the effect. Notice the timestamp, 3/7/2016, 5:25 universal time. The immediate pulse of the burst was felt. An X-flare and that energy, if you're dealing with a solar burst, can travel to the Earth in 8 minutes. So you're seeing those pulses hit. Now, if we were in the path, we would be waiting about up to 48 hours or maybe a little more for the coronal mass ejection to strike our planet. We've seen it before when we see the CME trackers. But if you look at ACE, which is the early warning system between the Earth and the sun, you see the magnetic field, and that's what we're dealing with when we're dealing with this, when we're dealing with CERN, which in the next video I have a very important update about CERN. It's going to make the large underground 18-mile circle obsolete. It's amazing how technology will expand. But what's causing this large magnetic filament to rise on the right of the sun from the Earth's perspective is that Mercury and Venus has lined up to the right. And you see that stereo ahead now is coming from behind the sun, pointed to the Earth, and that is giving us the clear images from the back. But again, we're dealing with the magnetic connection between Mercury and the sun and Venus in the back to back it up. Now, it's important to know what Venus is going to do because Mercury, because it's the closest to the sun. So when Mercury lines up with the Earth, and that's going to happen in May. Let's back this up just a little. You see Venus is on the other side. But the key planet, the one closest to the sun that causes the first magnetic filament release, is Mercury. Now it is aligned with Earth on May the 13th, and Mars is behind Earth, adding just a little more energy to that magnetic pull. So, and guys, every planet has a different orbital period, but what we're seeing right now, and you're seeing it live today with the SDO images, is that alignment with Mercury and Venus. And it's what I'm saying is Mercury can always affect the sun because of the close proximity and the gravitational pull that keeps it in orbit. Now, here is stereo A that we're finally getting images of again. This is a different shot. It is, the sun is to the left. Stereo A has emerged from behind it, moving right, but it's always focused on Earth on this particular camera. Now, Jupiter is the one that you see moving, but it's much further away. But you see this massive amount of energy being released from the sun during these coronal mass ejections. Look at that. This is on the other side. It's not hitting us. That's going to change, and it can change with comets, as we saw with Comet Ison, when we saw it, the X-flares throw the coronal mass ejections out and tear the tail off the comets. Remember that, guys? But this particular image right here from Stereo A, the one on the backside of the sun, it has multiple cameras. This is the most magnificent image of space to me that I've ever seen. What you're looking at to the right, and you see that blur, that is the wingtip of the spacecraft. This is the close camera, the closest camera to being a natural image that you will see. The sun is to the left, and the curve that you see on the left side is if you're looking out the window of a spacecraft that's in the same orbit as our planet, but on the other side of the sun. And again, we've seen comets come in here. We've seen asteroids come through here. This satellite, Stereo A, and you're looking at a different camera, notice in the bottom, it's called HI2A, will be the key for us spotting these large objects that will be coming around the sun towards our planet. It's a heads up, guys. Be safe.